Welcome to the Best Man Podcast. We haven't been here in a while. How have you been, Joe?
That robot voice? What the fuck are you doing, man?
I was doing a robot dance.
I'm sorry, we weren't supposed to say fuck for the first 5 minutes of a podcast.
Ah, fuck, you're right.
I fucked it up. My bad, man.
Yeah, you fucked it up.
We'll get the next one.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, all right.
We'll post it anyway.
So,
Who cares?
Best Man Podcast, man. What have you been doing? I think, when did we do the last one? The last time we did one was like March. I hope it doesn't record that. I hope to God it
I think
doesn't.
it's going to,
It's
and you're going to hate it.
hate
Oh my
it
God.
so bad.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. We haven't recorded in quite a while.
When did you go on tour with Disturbed? When did that
Been a
start?
while.
Been a while.
I started with them. We started rehearsal in April. March or April. No. We started in April because my first tour went from end of April into May. Then I had a couple weeks off. Then I went to Europe. Then I came back with a week off. Then I went full month. It was like 6 months, 6 or 7 months.
So we haven't done anything since like March, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So kind of, you've been all over the world. Where have you been, man?
Yeah, it's been wild. So I started drum teching for Disturbed in March and April of this year, 2023. And I still play drums for Aaron Lewis, but he's been doing an acoustic tour for all of eternity, is what it feels like. I don't know when he's going to do full band again. So if he does, I'm there. If he wants to do full band, but otherwise, I'm back to teching and doing session work here at the studio. Not as busy as I want it to be, but I'm still learning. So hopefully in the future, I'll just get better at recording and get more clients and so on and so forth. But yeah, Disturbed. It's been great. Super cool band, super cool crew. We started in Nashville rehearsing at PGP, and a lot of bands and other artists, they rehearse in all kinds of different areas all over the U.S., but L.A., New York, and Nashville are hubs for people to store gear and to rent gear and to get buses and get trailers, and a lot of crew live in those cities. So there's a lot of different places that you can rehearse and do a full production rehearsal, which we did. So we got everything set up for the most part, and then we had to go to Denver to do the final pre-production. But that was after the Canada tour. Or no, that was after the Europe tour. So this is crazy. So we started in Nashville. We went straight to Canada. We had a couple days in Canada to rehearse and go over all the arena stuff because we didn't rehearse in an arena. So we had to actually set everything up and make sure everything was going to function properly because we had a pretty big production. And we did a couple weeks in Canada, 2 or 3 weeks, then came home for a little bit, then went straight to Europe. We did all the big European metal festivals. Man, I don't remember. There were so many. But it was a good time. Got to see a lot of cool countries. We flew into Vienna. We started there. So we were there for 3 days. 2 days to kind of recover from the time changes. So that was definitely important to give us time to relax and like get used to the sleeping schedule and everything. So by the third day, it was a little bit better, but it took me about a week and a half, 2 weeks to actually start to get good sleep. Jet lag is very real, and a lot of people don't realize it. But when you subtract time or add time, if it's days, it really does mess with you. You know, you're supposed to be awake when at home you'd be sleeping, or vice versa. So it took me a while to get used to it. And by the time I got used to it, we only had a couple weeks left. And then by the time I got home, it took me about a week to get acclimated back to being at home and sleeping and like getting on a normal schedule. But Europe was amazing. We went everywhere. We ended the tour in Tel Aviv, which was gnarly. But yeah, we did Amsterdam. So how many countries did we do? We did Germany, United Kingdom, Sweden, Denmark, Germany again, Vienna. I think we did Austria. Um, might be a few other countries in there that I'm missing. And then we went to Greece, which was really cool. We had a day off there and then a show there. And then we went to Tel Aviv, and we were supposed to have two shows there, but one got canceled. So we had 2 days off there, a show, and then flew home. So that was a really fun part of the summer. And then I was home for about 6 or 7 days to recoup and get back to a sleeping schedule. And then we went straight into rehearsal for the 2 month US run. And it was all like summer sheds, and it was super hot. We had a lot of issues with heat, things overheating. We had a show canceled because of heat. It was like 120 degrees in Arizona. So we're making that show up this next winter. It's the last show of this next tour. It's going to be making up that show.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool.
Having an outdoor show in Arizona in the middle of the summer is probably a bad idea.
A lot of the places we went to was a bad idea, to be honest with you. Multiple occasions we had crew that fainted from heat exhaustion. So we had to treat them and get them sugar and like have them lay down and make sure they were hydrated and stuff. But a couple storms made us cancel shows as well. One of those was made up. The other one was canceled completely, I think. Either way, very fun tour. Really cool guys. Huge drum kit I was setting up. If I remember in post, I can present to you what it looks like. It's huge. So I set that thing up and tore it down every day. And not ideal situations every single time. So it adds to the spice of being a drum tech compared to it living on a riser, which makes my job easier. But it really just depends on how many components and parts it has. So sometimes it's not easier when it lives on the riser and goes straight into the semi-trailer. That can be completely annoying if you have to disassemble certain parts, if you have to take apart a bunch of different pieces of hardware just to change drum heads. There's a lot of different variables, and I'll talk about the Parkway Drive kit here in a bit.
I was going to say, so like I got to see you on tour with Disturbed and at Riverbend, and like I've been to Riverbend a handful of times. I've gone to the smaller part, the it used to be like PNC Pavilion. Who knows what it's called now? The smaller venue over there.
Yep.
It was cool to be on stage and kind of see you work, see you with your crew. Got to meet the drummer. Dude's awesome.
Super nice guy.
He didn't have to have a conversation with us. It was super engaging. It was really cool to hang out with for a few minutes.
Yeah.
So that one was cool, and like I think I just sent you a video of like the behind stage of like the fire was wild. So like
share this.
That'd be sweet if you could share it. So like on stage, just the fire of everywhere it was coming, and like it was all over the stage. It was shooting down on the stage. It was from the stage. It was shooting back. Like it was crazy. And like you said, it wasn't even all of the fire that they normally would have on a normal, like a perfect environment to have all of it.
No, I think was it Riverbend?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had our full show.
Okay, I thought you said that
Yeah.
that might have not been the full thing, but like
It
was
might not
wild.
have been, but they got it approved. Yeah. For some reason, I don't know if I can share it because the way that it's sent to me. Maybe can you send it to me on Facebook Messenger?
Probably.
Let's do that.
Okay. So while I do this, talk about the Parkway Drive.
Cool. So yeah, I ended the tour with Disturbed around September 7th, I believe. And at the end of that tour, towards the end of it, like a week before it actually ended, I had a couple people in the industry reach out to me to see if I was interested in helping out a band called Parkway Drive. Their drum tech needed to go back to Australia, where they're from. He had family things going on, so I was available. I didn't want to drum tech anymore that year or this year, to be honest, because I had joined a band called Enemy, which I'll also talk about later. So because of me joining a new band and being pretty busy staying out with Disturbed for the majority of the year, I was ready to take a break. But they seemed desperate and they didn't have anybody available. And there was one guy they asked, but he was already busy. My buddy David, who I actually gave the Greta Van Fleet gig to. So shout out to David Atkinson for taking the Greta Van Fleet gig and then thinking of me when it comes to other gigs too. So he put my name in the hat for that, among other people, which is cool. So I worked it out with management to go out with them from September 14th, I think it was. So I was home for a little bit less than a week. I think I flew out the 13th to meet up with that tour, and their other guy had left the day before. So I came into the camp, besides some texts and some pictures, completely oblivious to what I was working with, except for some rumors that they had a roller coaster drum kit, which was insane. And I'll also probably try and show you pictures of that here shortly. So let me see. You sent me that one. Sent video. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's see if this works. I will pause it. So this is the stage for Disturbed at Riverbend. Hey, it's my work box. Yeah, we had flames on the trusses, which were fully automated. Every 8 feet, they would section and move because they had different motors controlling them. We had a pretty good floor package as well with a lot of pyro. You can see some of that. There's one of the units. When it comes back, I'll let it play again. Those are all pyro units down here on the floor. And then there's cryo that comes off the back of the kit as well. So interestingly enough, the Modern Drummer interview that Mike and I did is finished, and they finally are going to be releasing it. So they wanted approval from me and Mike, and they just sent it to us a day or two ago. So the full drum rig rundown that he's going to have out, I'll share with you, and we can share it from the Best Man Podcast page if people are interested. It'll be cool. It'll be a full video on YouTube and then vertical videos for the rest of the social media, so people can watch like a preview of it and then go watch the full thing if they want to.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So anyway, the Parkway Drive one, holy shnikes. I don't even know what video should I show. Let's see. Let me see if I can do it this way, Joe. I'm going to show you guys a video.
I was going to say, are you able to pull up the video that you did, that you posted on YouTube of you guys setting it up?
Yeah, I could totally do that. So yeah, this drum kit.
Yeah.
Go. Yeah, this drum kit lived on. So originally, from what I was told, Parkway Drive built this cage that rotated a full 360, and it was actually for a music video called Crushed, and it was walled in on all sides, so all 6 sides, and it looked like a normal drywalled in room, but it would start to spin, and while they were in it, they would start to fall or like walk over onto the other side of the wall or whatever. And it was a very interesting, like chaotic music video shoot or whatever. So they took down all the walls and everything and kept the frame, which was all steel, and decided to put it on casters and have Air Ride have the actual frame go down and sit on the ground when they were playing or rotating. And then when they didn't want to and they needed to actually like move it and push it around or whatever, they had it come up on casters with Air Ride, and then it would split in half. So the top of the actual circle that I'm going to show you guys comes off with a crane, and after that, it's what did that just happen?
So it comes off did they tour with a crane that would move it around?
No, not crane. I'm sorry, motor. It was either a motor or a forklift. So you had to choose between those depending on the venue. In some venues, we couldn't use it. So it's a good thing we had a B-rig kit ready to go. So yeah, this Parkway Drive kit was placed onto the floor. They basically did like a graded floor on this spinning room, and they split it in half so it could be mobile and actually load into a semi. So they have carts that the top rides on, and then the bottom obviously has the Air Ride and lifts it up 2 inches or so. So it's enough room to go over some ramps, barely in some spots. But so this is the drummer or drum tech for Falling in Reverse. He does vlogs and stuff. He's becoming really popular on YouTube, which is really cool. If you guys want to check him out, Matt Thorne Drums is his channel. So he recorded this on his chest cam. I didn't know he was doing it at the time. But he let me know later on and tagged me in the video once he had posted it. So I'm glad I didn't say anything I shouldn't have. But this is Parkway Drives Drum Kit. You guys can read the captions. That's me right there, helping him lower down the top.
How heavy are the like that? Is that top part?
Pretty heavy, a few 100 pounds at least,
I was gonna
enough that
say
you can't just lift it.
like you guys could lift that if you wanted. It would just be heavy as
Yeah,
shit.
but when you see these people that are on the ground, you can see how high we would have to lift it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's 7 feet probably. It's
yeah,
like at least a foot above my head.
yeah.
Um, I'm 5'11", so
That's wild.
So I'm gonna go grab my bolts now. We bolt it all together. He only does it for like a drum solo in one song. Everything else will just live. So honestly, if it was a situation where they were like it's too much, we would just bring this whole cage up at the top, I guess.
Yeah.
But I do have that B kit if we needed it.
You're sitting there looking yoked. You look
I
good.
was.
You look good there.
Gotta stay fit, Joe.
Been
Gotta
hitting
stay
them
fit.
push-ups or something, man. You look good.
I have been. I'm back to them now since I've been home too. Because after the Parkway tour, I took a little bit of a break. So now I need to work off that Thanksgiving weight. So this gives you a preview of what we do, and I'm right here holding the cables to make sure they don't get wrapped up. That's my stage manager here, making sure that everything's functioning properly. And then our stage manager is over here operating the full thing. So the front of the riser lights on fire because we soak these cloths around the bars with kerosene. And then the rest of the pyro is there too.
I've seen their pyro from the front, man. Like it is
Pretty cool.
Their pyro is terrifying. Like it's moving pretty quick right now. It's spinning at a good rate.
It is. It's hard to play when it's spinning, by the way.
Yeah. So you got to do it eventually. You strapped in eventually, like.
Yeah, I need to put that video on YouTube. I put it on other social media, but I didn't put it on YouTube. All right, so
like right
I'll
there,
pause it
how
real
it
quick.
kind of like rotates out, like, and it comes back to normal. Like, how awkward is that to like still try
It's awkward.
and do it?
It's awkward. So I can kind of give a description. So this is the cage I was talking about. This squared in area was walled in for the music video. The air ride is right there. That's the air tank. And all of the drums on here are bolted down to the graded riser.
Mm-hmm.
All the cymbals actually have lock nuts on them instead of wing nuts that you would normally have on the top of cymbal stands. Each drum is not only secured very tightly by the way that it's mounted, like the rack toms are mounted to the rack, and those are also zip tied for security purposes to make sure that if for some reason the clamp, which it never does, but if it were ever to fail, knock on wood, now that I said that, it's going to fail. But those things won't fall off because he actually has a tight setup, just like that video we just watched of that other drummer from Styx,
Yeah.
Todd. So his snare drum is like right here. His toms are like right next to the drum, almost surrounding it in a circle.
Yeah.
So there's no room for those drums to go anywhere, even if the clamps fail, because it wouldn't be able to move anywhere because the snare drum is there. Snare drum's locked in to the snare basket, which is also zip tied around each tension rod. And then that's all bolted to the snare stand, which is bolted to the riser. Same with the floor toms. Instead of regular floor tom legs, they used just like quarter 20 or whatever thread count it would be, full giant thread, like a giant screw basically.
Yeah. And
it goes through the top of the floor tom leg thing all the way down through the graded riser. It's got lock nuts keeping it in place and lock nuts keeping it on the riser. So everything is bolted down and zip tied and electrical taped and like ready to go. So one of the most annoying things about this is the setup would seem simple because of the way that we have that motor that takes the top and puts it right on.
Mm-hmm.
Changing drum heads, I have to disassemble everything that keeps it safe from falling when he's upside down. So when I change drum heads, I have to put all that back on, and it's nerve-wracking because What if I miss something? What if it's not on right? There was one situation, which I don't think they'll care if I say. So he's in a jump seat right here, and it's a racing seat. So it's got a 5-point harness on it.
Mhm.
So one comes up between the legs, 2 around the legs, 2 over your shoulder, and then all straps into this one circular seatbelt hook
Yeah.
thing. So all that's strapped in, but then his seat is strapped into a shaft, which has a cotter pin, and then that actually has 2 safety cables going off of it that get attached to the side as well. So it's got 3 different things to keep him safe, right? Problem with that is if the cotter pin fails, which it did, he was halfway up going up on the side, and the cotter pin actually fell out. So for people that don't know what a cotter pin is, you have 2 poles, for lack of a better word. One pole is going to go over top of the other one, and a cotter pin goes through both poles and keeps it in place.
Yeah.
So that cotter pin also has like a safety mechanism that goes around the outside and attaches to the other end of the cotter pin. That failed, and so when he went sideways, it fell. And so he was still on where the seat sits, but as soon as he was going to go upside down, because there's no cotter pin, it would fall out. And the only thing that would have caught him would have been the 2 straps. This is my first night with Parkway Drive. So we test it. We do those spins. They tell me everything that's going on, blah, blah, blah. The cotter pin fails. Fish, the nickname of our production manager, hears it. And he looks at me. He's like, what was that? And I was like, I don't know. And then I looked down. I was like, cotter pin. I said, stop. And he looked over at Brad, our stage manager. He said, cut it, cut it, cut it. So he stopped immediately when he was sideways. And then we brought him right back down, put a new cotter pin in, and then had it ready to spin by the chorus. And Ben asked us what happened afterwards. We were like, we just saved you from dangling in the air, because those safety cables, and he was seatbelted in, so the safety cables would have kept the seat from falling completely, but he wouldn't have been able to hit the kick drums. He would have been like actually floating.
Like actually dangling, like
Yeah.
doing like Forrest Gump, like.
But that's why it's important to have multiple people there. And they said that's never happened. They've used this thing since 2017, I guess, but this is the first time they brought it to the U.S.
Okay.
So it was interesting, man. It was a lot of fun working for them. Really, really nice Australian fellows. And we
Sucks
had...
it was your first night. Like everybody just looks at Dave like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So no, it wasn't me, because technically
I know it wasn't you. I'm just saying.
I know.
Your first
But
night
like
on the show, like,
oh yeah.
that
They were like, dude,
rough.
what's up with that? And I was like, I don't know. Everything was fine after that. We only had a couple issues here and there. But it wasn't normally with the rig. Some of it was with pyro, some of it was with lighting, some of it was with the stage. The riser here wouldn't fit on some of those stages. So it was pretty gnarly. A lot of fun doing that gig for sure. But so yeah, most of the year was with Disturbed, working for them, just drum teching, no playback stuff. Same with Parkway, just drum teching, no playback stuff. And then after I got done with that tour, I played shows with my new band Enemy, which was great. Our first couple shows were awesome. Joe was there for the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one was in Louisville. And then we have another one in Dayton coming up in January before I go back out with Disturbed. So it's been a good year, man. And I know you've been busy as well.
Yeah, man. Like, so first half of the year was very normal. We, family stuff like that, but ended up moving kind of not spur of the moment, but like we're wanting to be very selective on our next house because we want to be here until the boys are older and can drive and stuff. So in our head, the plan is to stay in one place until the boys can drive and then go out into the country and get a big old spread and have room to romp around. But like, so we end up finding a house that we can spread our wings in, and it's quite a bit bigger than our last house. So still at the same store, haven't moved there. Other than moving, man, and my kids, man, whoever says have kids like similar ages, like if you have kids like within like 18 months, 2 years apart, like it seems like a good idea because they're going to play with each other. Like Yeah, that is a thing, but like when you have a kid that's 3 and 2, it is a nightmare, man. Like these kids
I
are
believe it.
just destructive. Like they just go from room to shelf, grabbing stuff, flipping it upside down, and then going on to the next thing. And like you can't keep up with it. Like it
Yeah.
is exhausting. Like at some point it's gonna become cool. Like it's gonna be cool and they're gonna play with each other. They're gonna be like it's gonna be awesome.
At some point.
We're not there yet. Like we're in the middle, like we're in the trenches right now. We're battling.
It's so funny because like I don't know who will watch this that doesn't actually know us. But if people don't know us, like I travel full time as a drum technician and a drummer, and I'm always on the road, and I don't have kids, and we're never going to have kids unless we adopt because we can't have kids.
Mm-hmm.
But we've accepted that. We have a lot of animals, but she stays home and works from home and comes to visit me on tour. But like we just need like an animal sitter. So easy compared to actually having kids. So we have no complaints, and our life is set up in a way that like works for both of us. But it's so funny that Joe and I have such a dynamic because he is doing what you would say is the typical dad life. Like he works more than full time. He's always busy with his job. And then he's married. So he's a husband as well as a father of very rambunctious boys,
Yeah, so
3
like
of them.
and I'm not and like people talk about gentle parenting. Like fuck those people. Like good for them. Like they can do that. Like my kids, man, like so me and my wife are like spending 30 seconds in the kitchen tonight just having a conversation of like, how was your day? How was your day? You piss these people off. Cool. I pissed these people off today. I had these kids, like, we're talking about it. And she was like, how long did it take you to fold laundry today? And I was like, there's 4 loads of laundry. It was a while. And she was just like, how long is it going to take us to refold that? And like, I had it all like laundry basket up at the bottom of the stairs to take up. And Henry had flipped these things over, like laundry all over
Oh
the fucking
no.
living room. And he's having a grand old time. And I'm just like, you son of a bitch. And he's just like, takes off running. So he only knows like 4 words. He's just like, hi. And just takes off going again. Like,
Well, now he knows 5 because you called him a bitch.
well, so this is part of the story. So like, he's going to turn 2 in about a month or so. And
Nice.
we're in the middle of like folding them back together, and Jack comes walking out. We'll call it 3.5. Comes walking out. It's like just sees laundry everywhere. He was like, "What happened?" And I was like, "Your brother's an a-hole." And he was like, "A-hole?" And like Jess just smacks me like, "You can't say that shit anymore." And he's like, "Shit." Like he's
Yeah, I was gonna
like
say
fucking
like you
Mockingbird
said
right
a
now.
hole. Yeah, you said a hole, which is nothing compared to her saying you can't say shit anymore.
He didn't
Come
say
on.
shit. The other day, what was I saying? Like I was watching a Pat McAfee show, and the crowd in the background was chanting, "Fuck, fuck, 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 fuck," like on they had a live show, and
Yeah.
I was telling Jess about it, and I was like, "Yeah, the crowd was doing this, and they were just out in the crowd going, fuck, fuck, fuck." And Jack just stands up on his chair at the kitchen table and just like, fuck, 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 fuck.
I mean, that's something I wish I would have had the opportunity to do, like as a dad, is to like watch your kids cuss for the first time and be like mad, but also like giggle, kind of.
But he's not actually saying it. So like that makes me feel okay about it. Like he can't say fuck, right? He's making a sound that kind of sounds like you could maybe possibly think that it sounds like fuck.
True, true. But yeah, man, it seems like we both had a busy year. Looking forward to 24. I feel like it's going to be really good for me on the playing side of things. We have a lot of cool uh, enemy things happening in the background that we're not supposed to say anything until next year. But a lot of cool
Sure.
things, man. A lot of fun shows.
So like I followed Brady for a while. Like he's been in a few bands I've really enjoyed. Like
Mm-hmm.
your drummer, like not the drummer, you're the drummer, the bassist. What's his name? Trevor.
Trev, yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's entertaining. Like I love watching that dude. Like seeing him live. Like and like I'll say this on here because I want him to like hear it from my mouth. Was like hearing him sing, like me and my brother both looked at each other like, oh shit, like not just his scream, like his singing, like was jarring, like how good he is, and like it was
Yeah.
impressive. It was exciting. Like the whole band is entertaining as shit. Like they're really really good. Like obviously, like you're entertaining as a drummer, but like him, like people throw away the bassist as like a throwaway comment, like he's just there or whatever. There's a lot of bassist jokes. I'm sure you could tell me 4 or 5 of them right now, but like he's good,
Yeah.
he's entertaining, and like he's really good at singing and screaming. Like he's a fun point to watch.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, bassists, a lot of times, bass and drums are usually the two that get insulted the most out of the band members when it comes to any band.
Mhm.
Usually they say the bass player or the drummer are the dumbest people in the band. And the reason that usually happens is because if it's a traditional band, the vocalist is the one that writes the lyrics, so they're deep and they're into their thoughts and emotions most of the time, right? We're just talking about a typical band from back in the day, like the way it used to be. But the guitar player is normally the songwriter. So they're the ones who have the brains, is usually what everybody thinks.
Mhm.
And then the drummer and the bass player just go up there and keep the rhythm and like to hit things. Not always the case, but I totally understand. But yeah, I agree. Trev's awesome. The guys in the band are great. It's been a cool fit. I'm glad it's happening. Look forward to 24. We have some cool possible shows in the late summer and fall. Maybe some festivals. I don't know. Still up in the air with some of that, but we're also working on a lot of music in the background. We're going to have a new album possibly sometime next year. Some other things in the works, some remixes possibly of some songs that already exist. Some music videos possibly coming out for some new songs that we're going to release. So like a lot of cool things happening. Even while I'm going to be on tour with the guys in Disturbed, I'll have a lot of work to do just with my own band stuff because we're making a lot of decisions right now on the future. Hopefully, all good ones, and we make the right ones. But we're enjoying the process, man, and that's what it's all about. So I've been wanting to be part of a band for a long time. But like I said, obviously, if Aaron goes back out, I'll play for him if he wants to. But it seems like Stained is picking up, and Aaron's acoustic stuff. He's cutting another acoustic album. So who knows how long that'll be until he supports any more of his full band stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm thankful for where I'm at. Still really good friends with everybody in the Aaron Lewis camp and the Stained camp, even though I don't work for them anymore. Really nice people. It was cool to see them. I told you we played a show with them, right? So one of the last shows we had on the U.S. run with Disturbed was with Stained. Stained was direct support for Disturbed.
Okay, that's sweet.
So Mark Bennett, my good buddy, that ended up being my replacement for the Stained gig. He had worked with Sal before in the past. Mark's worked for everybody. He worked the Manson gig and kind of handed that off to me when he left that gig. So him and I have been connected in the scene for a long time since then. So yeah, it was good to see him. Good to see everybody that works for Aaron because it's basically the same crew that works for his solo stuff that works for Stained.
Okay.
So same merch person, same tour manager, same front of house guy, same monitor guy, same guitar tech. Everybody's the same. So the only difference is the band, obviously.
Good to keep them busy.
Keeping him very busy. He took the month of December off because doctor's orders. He had been abusing his throat because basically he goes from Stained to his full band stuff or his acoustic stuff, and he's just always playing and always singing, and he is not taking care of himself the way he should because he's just doing too much.
Yeah. I mean,
so a break was needed.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, which is good, I think, for the crew too, because they love their job and job security is important, but they haven't had time off. They've just been nonstop.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. Stained is doing a month tour. Yeah, but then Aaron's going out for the rest of the year. And we're all the same crew. So all we're going to do is get rid of the Stained band bus and we're going to keep going.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow. It's just nonstop work, which is great because in the industry we work in, to have that much work is pretty cool.
For sure. So
they're thankful, all of those guys and ladies that work for him. They're thankful for sure.
Yeah. Do you want to transition over to our segment for the week or month or whatever.
Do you want to do it on a separate video or the same video?
We can do it on the same video. We
Cool.
could hit a pause. I'm gonna run and piss real quick. So,
And we're back. Raise your hand up, Joe. Do something cool. That's how we're going to know that we're doing Christmas stuff on the recording. All right. So, to end this episode, we are going to talk about our top 5 favorite Christmas movies because Christmas is right around the corner for us. And since Joe is a father, it's a lot more cool for him because he gets to do the Santa Claus thing and the present thing and see the joy on his kids' faces when all I do is probably sleep in. Not even that much because the dogs always wake us up and we have chickens and stuff.
dude,
And
like,
then
so you
we
said
make
it.
our own
Like,
brunch.
let's have this conversation. So, like,
Oh, okay.
when you were a kid, did you have the whole Santa, believe in Santa, he was real?
They did that for a little while, yeah. I don't remember how long or when either my siblings or my parents broke the news to me that it wasn't real or somebody at school. I don't remember. But
So,
yeah,
like,
for a while.
but like we met each other in 4th grade, 5th grade, somewhere in there. It, Santa wasn't a thing by then, and like
No, it was still a younger kid thing.
so like our oldest boy, like him and all his friends are doing the Elf on the Shelf thing, and like they, it is alive and well, and like we're like the last 2 years we've been looking at each other like it's got to be done, right? And like it just keeps on going, and like for the youngest boys, like I don't want to mess with all that. Like I don't want to. And like my wife is like, we want to do the magic is real and all of this, and like I'm like, if they believe in it, let them believe in it. If they don't believe in it, like I'm not going to feed into it. And like we are on polar opposite ends of the spectrum here on the younger boys, whether Santa's real or not. So like
Yikes.
after this year, like the podcast could be getting a little bit real on whether Santa's real or not. But like my parents never fed into it. Like, and if you believed in it, you believed in it. If you didn't believe in it, you didn't believe in it. And like it was kind of one of those things. But so I do enjoy. I am looking forward to this Christmas because the 2 youngest boys are of the age of they can actually open up presents on their own. They can enjoy things. Like it's a little bit more exciting from that end. But like I'm trying to show them Christmas movies, and like some of them they get into and some of them they don't. So I have a eclectic list here.
Okay. Well, why don't you start? You can either do all 5 or we can go back and forth from 5 down to 1. We'll start with the least favorite to the most favorite.
All right. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I will put at my number 5 the new Grinch. The new cartoon Grinch. I forget who made it. Like it's a little bit more rappy with the music. Like it, but it is good, and it's little parts of it. It changes the story a little bit, but it's not too much, and it's really enjoyable. Like
Okay.
I like that one. I don't know if you've seen the new one or not, but it's worth a
I
try.
haven't. Okay.
The first 5 times I've watched it, didn't like it.
Okay.
Now I'm on like number 785 times of watching it, and I like it now more than I did the first time.
Okay. Cool. So that's your number 5.
That's my number 5. So you give me your number 5.
All right. So my number 5 is Home Alone.
Okay.
A lot of people might have that closer to number 1. I love that movie. It's definitely one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies. Top 5 for sure. So number 5, because the other reasons why the other ones are in front of it are more appealing to me. So Home Alone, classic. Obviously, everyone's got to love it. Everything about that movie is amazing. The robbers are hilarious. We just watched it the other day. We're going to watch Home Alone 2 again in the next couple of days, probably.
So when you're saying
watching
Home
all of the
Alone,
Christmas
are you
movies.
saying the Home Alone franchise or just like the first one and the first one?
Just the first one. I mean, if you want, I don't have any of the other ones in my top 5. Home Alone 2 was great. but the original is like pretty sick because it was the original.
See,
So 2 was
I would argue 2 is better than 1.
Hmm.
The New York, like that's
it was pretty cool. It was
Yeah.
pretty cool, but well, what? Wait, I mean, if you want to look at it from a film critic standpoint, which I'm not, but I'm saying like when they do sequels, the problem with sequels is they redo some of the same slogans that the first one had for their like famous slogans, but they try to make them better or add to them, and it usually doesn't work because it's like, oh, they did that in the first movie.
yeah,
It
no,
wasn't as good.
no, like I don't like. I'm not a film critic. I'm just saying that I enjoyed like the second one. I think is better.
Second one's good.
Just
It is good.
just all around. I enjoy it better. So like,
Okay.
so I'll go with my number 2 or 4, I guess.
Four.
Four.
Number 4.
So I'm gonna go with the Office Christmas Party. Have you ever
Okay.
seen that one?
Yeah.
Like
It's wild.
Jason Bateman, all those dudes.
It
Like,
gets wild.
it's a fucking shit show of a Christmas party. Like, it's hilarious.
Mhm.
It's a little bit newer, but it's not a classic. But like it's one of my favorites.
I'm into it. I mean, I haven't seen it in a long time. I'm gonna text Carrie right now that we need to watch it because I don't think she's seen it.
So I'm gonna put a asterisk off of this one because it's not in my top 5. But there's a The Night Before that has a lot
Yeah.
of the same guys. It's kind of a similar-esque style of movie,
Mhm.
but like it's very similar. But I just think this one's better.
Okay. So that was your number 4. My number 4 is Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
4. All right. Can't wait to hear the next 3.
Yeah, well, there's reasons for each of them. So Tim Allen, we watched Home Improvement growing up. It was one of my favorite shows. It's one of Carrie's favorite shows. When we have nothing that we want to watch or can't find anything we want to watch, we put on Home Improvement because it's heartwarming, but it's actually like even the comedy holds up to this day because Tim Allen is hilarious.
Yeah, I feel that.
So yeah, Santa Claus number 4. I battled with that one with the top 5 where I wanted it, but all of these are almost equal. Like it's almost like they all could be number 1, or they could be 5, or they could just be in top 5. So it's really hard to narrow down exactly my favorite, but I did because I had to for this. So that was my number 4. What's your number 3?
Okay. So I'm gonna go the Home Alone franchise, if I'm allowed to do that. So like
Sure.
when I'm saying the franchise, I'm just
Third
saying
one sucked.
1 and 2. Like
Okay.
like 1 and 2.
You said it.
So like 1 introduces like the idea of this whole thing, but 2 is better than 1. And so like regardless of anybody thinks, like I haven't heard anybody ever say like actually in an argument say 1 is better than 2. So like Home Alone franchise I'll put at number 3. And like the New York movie, like when he's ordering all of the room service and like doing that whole thing, like such a like any little kid that watched that was like that is the fucking dream. So
Yeah,
that is,
I agree.
and then how he the heartwarming part where he gives the money back for the toy store like it's Home Alone's number 3 for me.
Okay. Yeah, 1 and 2 are both great. Like I said, I feel like they are equal. Some people say 2 is better. I used to think 2 was better, but after watching both of them, they're both great. They're both great movies. So I agree. The franchise is really good. 1 and 2, at least.
All right.
So my number 3 is Christmas Vacation.
Okay.
Yep. So the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, because it's a classic. I watch that every year like everybody else, but the old school Chevy Chase and like just everything about the family being there and stuff. A lot of that rings true with how I felt towards my family. Love y'all. But yeah, it's not always glitz and glamour, right? Because sometimes having family around during the holidays is sometimes a burden. You love them, but it can be overwhelming. So Christmas Vacation's number 3.
Yeah,
Hilarious
so
movie.
like those movies, what's the American Pie movies, most Ben Stiller movies. Those
Mhm.
movies were like shit just keeps going wrong. Like makes
Yeah.
me so uncomfortable. I can't watch them. Like I can't do it. Like it it
I get it. I get it. It's not for everybody.
like
I get that.
like it's like nails on a chalkboard. Like for me, like metal on ice. Like I just makes my skin crawl. Like makes me uncomfortable. Like just make the right decision here. Like don't stop fucking up and like just keep doing it. And like I can't get in behind it. I can't do it. So
Nothing wrong with that, man. To each their own.
um
All right. So what's your
so
number
we did
3?
2, right?
Oh yeah, number 2. Yeah, yeah. Because you
All right.
went first. Yeah, you went
Yeah.
first. My bad.
All right. So I'm gonna do the Santa Claus movies. So 1 is good, 2 is good, 3 is good. I can't get into the new
Show.
series on Disney. Like it's just too kiddie for me. Like
It's for kids.
maybe
They're
I'm
getting the
not
job done
too
for kids.
old, but like um it is good. It does stay with the series. Like it doesn't go too far off of it. It's just a little too kiddie for me. But like, man, those movies, man, like I can watch any of them at any point in time, and they're fucking good. So
Mm-hmm.
the Santa Claus franchise, nailed it. They're good.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I have
They're
a
definitely great movies.
I have an issue with. I think we both are going to have the same number 1.
I don't think so.
No,
Maybe not. We'll see.
say it then. What's your number
No,
2?
because I got to do number 2
What's
first.
your number 2?
My number 2 is The Grinch with Jim Carrey.
Okay.
The real life Grinch, whatever. I think his performance of being the Grinch was one of the best performances he's done. He was meant to be the Grinch.
Okay.
Yeah. Amazing. I love that movie. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies for sure.
Me and the 2-year-old were watching that today. So yeah,
Nice.
solid.
Yeah. So solid for sure. All right. So what's your number 1, Joe? Number 1.
All right, so I have a number 1, and I have like, can I do a number 1, and can I do a god tier, like a number 1, and then like then there's like this is the Christmas movie.
Sure.
Are you sure?
Yeah, there's no rules here, Joe. We can make our own rules.
So my number 1 is 4 Christmases.
Hilarious. We just watched that the other day. Great
So
movie.
number 1, 4 Christmases. Like as any if anybody has ever been single or ever been in a committed relationship around the holidays and didn't want to go see their family, like 4 Christmases depicts it perfectly.
Perfectly.
Like, and you live that life maybe a little bit more than I get to, but like it's money. So like that's my number 1, but then I have a god tier that is the Christmas movie. And if you call it not a Christmas movie, we're not friends. I don't like you. You're a piece of shit. But like Die Hard is the number 1 Christmas movie.
That's
So
my number 1.
every single year, Christmas Eve.
That's my number 1.
I knew it was going to be.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why I said that comment. But like, I leave my dad's house Christmas Eve. We go to dad's house Christmas Eve. Everybody goes home. We used to watch it at my brother's house. Kids, life, shit happens. We watch it separately now. But like, we watch Die Hard on Christmas Eve, and then we finish wrapping gifts, do whatever we got to do, finish drinking whatever bourbon we got to drink, and then we go to bed. Wake up at 5 a.m. to open up gifts with the fucking kids. So, Die Hard is God tier Christmas movie.
I agree.
Do you have a 1 or a God tier, or Do you have anything you want to shift, or you just like, yeah, I agree with that?
No, I agree with that. Die Hard was number one for me for sure. So when it comes to the top five, I think those are my top five: The Home Alone 1 and 2, Santa Claus 1 and 2, Christmas Vacation, The Grinch with Jim Carrey, and Die Hard. But if there was going to be a top 10, there's obviously The Christmas Story. There's a bunch of other movies that are classic. I got to go to the Christmas Story house last year.
Oh, okay.
Or no, earlier this year. So before I worked with Disturbed, I was still doing some spot dates with Ace Frehley. And we played a show in northern Indiana. Is that where it is? Or
Yeah, I think so.
Cleveland? I don't remember where it is. But we went and saw the house, and they have a Christmas Story like gift shop. We went in and saw all the gifts and like so much cool stuff. So it was cool.
So I have on my list of a few other ones is the A Grinch with Jim Carrey. Like, love that movie. It's classic. My only issue with it is when I go to show my young boys it, they're fucking terrified. Like, it
It is pretty scary.
too scary for little kids. Like, they just start screaming as soon as they see Jim Carrey's character. So like, I don't
Mhm.
remember that as a kid, but like, if you're gonna do Christmas movies, wholesome, like clean, so like that's why it wasn't in my top five. It was probably like 5A. The Night Before is hilarious. Um, needs to be a movie to be on your short list to watch. Bad Santa, like
Hilarious.
that's
Hilarious.
like it's not a classic, but like it's on the short list, right?
You could say it's a classic.
Okay.
Yeah.
A Christmas Story, like we've all seen it, we all get it. My sister-in-law Missy, like that's her favorite movie of all time. I'm pretty sure of that and like the girl baseball movie, like. But
League of Their Own.
yeah, that one, like, but like A Christmas Story is for me a little played out, like maybe a little overhyped at this point, right? Like it's, but did
They
it?
do 24 hours of it on TV, so it's like
Yeah,
pretty overplayed.
like
It wasn't in my top five, but it's
yeah,
still a great classic.
yeah. It's a
Definitely one
classic.
of the
It's a
best
good one.
classics.
I watch it.
Same with
But
Miracle on 34th Street.
yeah, sure.
Classic, like a classic, right? A classic.
Just Friends. Ryan Reynolds,
That was a Christmas movie?
fat kid growing up, comes back for Christmas to his
Oh, okay.
hometown.
I guess it is. I guess it is.
Good movie.
It's a good movie.
Um, like I don't know if we're gonna say it's a classic, one of the greatest movies of all time, but like it's a good movie. I enjoy it. But like Miracle on 34th Street and all these other things, like I don't know, like I don't I don't go out and search those movies to watch them. But like
Right.
if all of these movies were like Miracle on 34th Street, A Christmas Story, and Just Friends were on, I'm probably gonna watch Just Friends.
I get that because it's way more entertaining for like our sense of humor, though.
Yeah.
Hold on, there was another one. I'm looking it up real quick because I don't remember what it's called. It's a Wonderful Life.
Never. I'm sure I've seen it. I don't know.
It's another classic. Jimmy Stewart. It was black and white. Then they redid it to make it color, but it was shot in black and white. So
yes, they like. I understand that that's a classic and everybody loves it, but like I'm sure I've seen it in my life, but like I'm not gonna. So here's
it's nostalgic for people that their grandparents watched it when it came out, kind of thing.
What about Scrooge?
Great grandparents.
Like that is the Christmas movie, right? Scrooge.
No.
No.
No, I don't think the original movie was called Scrooge. I think it was what is it called? Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol. Okay, sorry. Like
no, I think Scrooge or Scrooge. I think there was a movie called Scrooge. I think there's a movie called Scrooged, which is Bill Murray. So like, there's a bunch of different adaptations of the original.
Like any of
the
those,
Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yeah, pick which
That's
one
a
you want to
classic.
do. Like,
top 10 Muppets Christmas Carol for me.
You think top 10?
Muppets Christmas Carol? It's hilarious because the Muppet like humor, It's way more adult, and they hint at so much funny stuff that like when we were kids, we were like, I think it's funny. I don't know what it means. Now that you're an adult and you get it, 100%. All right, let's round this off.
Yeah.
Let's round this
So,
off. Yeah, good top 5. I'm into it.
yeah. So,
Four Christmases is definitely a good number 1 for you. Makes sense because we both love Vince Vaughn.
he's so fun. And
Um,
what's the country singer that's in it? His brother that's in it.
Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw's in it. His character in that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
His other brother, UFC fighter, like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
But I used to have a shirt, like a Christmas shirt that I would only wear this time of year, and it said had the writing of had the gun taped on the back and on the front of it. When the guy comes down the elevator, what does he say? He writes on his chest, "I have a gun now," or something like that.
I don't remember.
Nah, fuck it, doesn't matter. It was just a stupid, like, Die Hard Christmas shirt. It was fucking awesome, though.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've seen that before. That shirt, anyway. Obviously, I've seen Die Hard many, many times.
All right, so we're gonna do this again in the next week. We're gonna do what are we talking about? Favorite Christmas songs.
Ooh, we could do that. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, we're both into music, so
Yeah,
that makes
so-
sense.
We have a week or so to come up with our top 5 favorite Christmas songs. I got a couple that are bangers. I'm super excited to come up with.
Okay,
Maybe
good.
we're gonna queue them up on YouTube. Maybe listen to them live. That'd be exciting.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we can definitely do that.
All right.
There's so many songs to choose from. My God, it's gonna take me forever. It'll happen though. We'll make it happen. Cool. All right, Joe.
All right.
Good top 5.
See you, dude.
Later, buddy.